Well, hello everybody and welcome to another episode of As the Crow Flies Hiking. Man, I got something completely different this time. I'm here with Backcountry Pilgrim and Mark Goes Hiking, two awesome channels. The link will be below. And well, I say I'm here with them, I am virtually here with them. We're on a Zoom meeting and we're talking about 9 pieces of gear. And so we all chose 3, or were assigned 3. And I got 3, which are your sleeping system, trekking poles, and then kind of the wild card or miscellaneous stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. But then I'm going to ask you to go over to their channels. That's Backcountry Pilgrim and Mark Goes Hiking, two awesome guys that I've got to meet. And I want you to check out their videos about the other 6 items. Doug from Backcountry Pilgrim has 3, and Mark from Mark Goes Hiking has 3. So check out their videos as well. But right now, we're going to talk about 3 items that I have, which will start with your sleeping system. And I'm going to go to Doug first and ask him about his sleeping system.
All right, so I have kind of a mixed bag right now, literally. My sleeping bag is from my old college days, where it was pretty high tech at the time, but now it's not so much. In fact, the company doesn't even exist anymore. But then I have some updates with some of the gear that I've bought lately. So I'm still transitioning into my full kit. I'm probably going to get a quilt or something, but I just haven't decided yet, and that's like a lot of money, so I want to make sure I get the right one. So right now what I've got is here behind me. This is a Moonstone mummy bag. Moonstone was a Northern California company, and I love the bag. It is super comfortable. It's kept me warm, but the thing weighs 56 ounces. I mean, it's a 3.5 pound mummy bag. It takes up a lot of room and it's pretty heavy. So I love it, it's great, but that is something I'm going to want to replace. Now, as far as things I've bought lately, got a real smoking deal on the Nemo Tensor. Now, this is not the insulated variety. That's probably why I got a great deal on it. I'm a pretty warm, hot sleeper, so and I don't like really camp in the snow or anything usually. So this thing's only 13 ounces. I got a great deal on it. It's very lightweight. Blows up nice, it's comfortable. I've been very happy with this. And then I don't have it with me, but I just have one of those Trekology pillows, the kind that they're constantly giving away for free with, $17 in shipping or whatever, on Facebook and stuff like that. Typically, I'll just kind of sleep on a pile of clothes in a stuff sack or something, but I went ahead and tried the pillow. It is very lightweight, it's a lot more comfortable. So right now, that's kind of my kit, is those 3 pieces.
So Doug, what are you looking at to switch out your quilt with, or your sleeping bag? What are you looking into?
Well, I'm pretty sold on the idea of a quilt. I love the fact that they are lighter weight. I love the fact, probably more than anything, that you just, you're not trapped inside your bag. I do tend to get a little claustrophobic sometimes, and although the Moonstone is pretty wide from the torso up, it can get me a little crazy, like if I get twisted up at night and I'm trying to move and I can't, move my legs. So I like the fact that you can spread out a little bit more. I am a side sleeper, so that's important to me. I like the fact that quilts are lighter. And then just the new ones, just the new way they're making stuff is just so incredibly lightweight. So I'm probably looking at like Enlightened Equipment or something like that. I'm really trying to decide on temperature ratings. I really haven't done a deep dive into quilts yet, so I haven't pulled the trigger, but that's what I'm looking for.
So Mark, what about you? What does your sleeping system look like?
Yeah, first I want to make a recommendation for Doug, is that UGQ Outdoor makes a great top quilt, and all these other companies do too, I'm sure, but I had an opportunity to meet the guys from UGQ Outdoor in October of this past year. And they're great guys. I ordered a quilt from them. They worked with me right there at this hammock hang that I was at. I was the guy in the tent. And got one ordered right there. They walked me through the specifications, what I might like and not like. And I'm sure all these other companies would do the same thing, but they really made a big impression on me. And so check them out, UGQ Outdoor. All right, so I do have a UGQ Outdoor top quilt. It's a 20 degree quilt. 850 down, but that's not what I'm going to show you guys, because we're going into the warmer months of the year, and I use an Aegis Max actually for the warmer months. Right now on Amazon, if you get the large or the long, I think it's maybe both and it's $90. I'm 6'1". I have plenty of room in this thing. I'm actually just going to put a video out there too talking about this particular sleeping bag, so it's going to be kind of a double up. But you know, I'm wide, I'm broad, and I'm 6'1". I'm not a light guy, and I have tons of room in this thing. So Doug, this could be an economical option for you.
I have seen the Aegis Max. It's like actually on my considering list on Amazon, but yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff about that.
Yeah, it's a 40-degree bag. I have taken this down to, I think, 39 degrees, and I was okay in it. Now, I'm a warm sleeper, but I can't say enough good about this particular tent, or this particular sleeping bag. The cool thing is, too, is that the zipper goes down about 2/3 of the way, and it instantly becomes a quilt. So it's a sleeping bag and a quilt. And when it's a sleeping bag, it's not a mummy bag, but you can take the cord at the top and get it really close to your neck. Actually, you could get it literally to choke you to death if you wanted it to. So you can get it really nice and tight around you so it keeps all the warm air in. Or you can unzipper it and it acts just like a quilt. This thing's awesome. So I would highly recommend it. Yeah, and then for my sleeping pad, I just have a Climate Static V2. It weighs 16 ounces, not really much of an R value. It's an R value of 1.3, but 16 ounces, blows up fast. I sleep on my side as well, never bottom out on this. This is my second Climate sleeping pad I've had. Nothing wrong with the other one. It's just a 20 ounce. So I went down 4 ounces when I bought this. I do have the Thermarest. It's a R value of 5.6. I think that's the Nemo Air. It's narrow, it's only 20 inches wide. It works okay for me because I'm a side sleeper. That's my winter or my cold weather sleeping pad. Doug, kind of like you, I haven't really been a pillow guy because I just take my clothes or whatever and my sit pad and I just make a pillow out of that. But if I do take a pillow, I do take the Sea to Summit Arrows pillow, and this thing works great. This thing, it's so small and it takes a couple breaths to blow it up. The only thing I don't like about these backpacking pillows is they slide all over the place on your sleeping pad. So it's like all night I'm kind of fighting to keep it up on my head and to sleep on, but they are comfy. So that's my sleep system.
So for me, I have been using the Big Agnes, the Aircore Ultra, and I think I've done a review on it. I won it at an REI opening, and I've never had a 25-inch pad before, and this has a great R value. It's the insulated pad. It's 25 by 72, and I'm not sure I'd go back to 20 anymore, though I do also have, like Mark, I have the Neo Air X-Lite, but I think my Neo Air X-Lite has some pinholes in them because it's not holding its air anymore, and so I'm going to have to send it in when Thermarest reopens, because right now you can't send anything in. But I really love this pad. It's a little heavier. It's a lot heavier than the Neo Air X-Lite, but it is super comfortable, and it's worth it to me to have that space, that 25 inches of width, and have the good R value. I also carry the Gossamer Gear 1/8 inch foam pad, and I put it underneath. It's just a little bitty thin pad. It weighs nothing. It's just like paper light, but I put it underneath my pad to prevent, hopefully to prevent, you know, any punctures or things, and it adds a little R value. And it also keeps your pad from sliding in the duplex, because the duplex you can't slide. So this creates a friction there that it won't slide. My quilt is the Enlighten Equipment Revelation 20. If I could go back, I would get the Enigma that has the sewn in box, because this one just has the little pull cinch at the bottom. And I like the Enigma. It has the full sewn in box. But I've gone on 3 years with this. This thing is super light. And I mean, it lasts forever. It lost back up, super simple, and just absolutely love it. And then lastly, my pillow. I have the Trekology pillow, but pillows are my nemesis. I cannot find the one that's the right height for me. So I think Doug was going to say something about it. So what I do is I have this old REI stuff sack that has the fleece liner in it, and it's used for a pillow. You stuck all your clothes in it, and then you use it as a pillow. So what I do is I blow up the Trekology and put it in that bag, and it keeps it from moving on my sleeping pad. So the next item that I have on my list of the 3 items that I'm going to talk about is trekking poles. Let me go ahead and tell you about my trekking poles. They are I think Doug says CNOC. I don't know why I was calling it CNOC. I don't know what it is, but they are the CNOC aluminum poles. They are folds down to 3 parts with that nice little string in between them. I have had great use out of them because they break down so easy. They're not the lightest in the world, but now that I use the Z-Pax Duplex, I wanted a sturdy pole that I could put up with those. Now, eventually I may go to the carbon fiber poles with the Z-Pax, but these CNOC outdoor poles have worked really well for me. I typically, because I'm filming all the time, I just keep them in my pack, but I absolutely love them. I haven't had any issues. They haven't broken for me. So let me go to Backcountry Pilgrim. Doug, what do you use for trekking poles if you do?
Well, I got a couple videos on this, but I am a Foxelli man myself. There's just a lot of poles out there that are basically, as far as I can tell, kind of the same thing. The reason I went with Foxelli was because I got these for like 15 bucks on one of these crazy like burner sales where you have, they throw it up on Facebook and you got like 5 minutes, to get yours in. So I got a pair of the aluminum ones. I like cork. I like the foam secondary grip. I like the quick locks, and usually aluminum. And they had pretty much exactly that. I got them for $15, and I figured, well, I'll just beat these things to death because who cares? Well, a year later, I'm still beating the things to death, and they work flawlessly. I mean, these poles have been amazing. They weigh about 20 ounces. What's in my hand, though, I just recently picked these up. This is exactly the same thing, except this is the carbon poles. And I had not really gone into the whole carbon thing because I've just heard too many people say that they've broken them. So I just thought I would give it a shot. They weigh about 5 ounces less total, so there isn't like a massive difference in weight savings. But I can tell the difference. I mean, when they're in my hand, they do feel a little lighter. They're a little lighter on the back. When I took these out for the first time, I actually ran into a bear on the trail, and part of my self-defense was to smack these up against a tree really hard and make some noise. And they're fine. They didn't break. So, I think if you set them up correctly, you keep the segments equal, and you don't drop them in a crack and just fall on top of them, they're probably fine. I have not had any trouble with them at all, but I love Foxelli's stuff. This is like my 4th. I just have kind of a trekking pole problem. I have a lot of trekking poles. These are only 15 ounces. I think they usually run about 50 bucks. That's like the most expensive ones they make. The aluminum ones, which that's the one I've been using for a while now. They usually come in around 30. So they're a super good value, and you don't really have to worry too much about breaking them.
I've heard some good things about them, Doug. I think I've seen some videos of people that use Foxelli in a good company, so that's good to hear. Let's go to Mark Goes Hiking. Let's talk about trekking poles. Mark, what do you use?
I use something pretty simple, and I'm really excited to hear about that Foxelli because my understanding was that to get a really lighter trekking pole, you got to spend like $200 on them. So I am kind of trekking pole stupid. I've got a pair of $44 Kelty trekking poles. They twist to get to the desired height. They have the cork handle, which I really like. I never use these. I've actually thought about cutting them off, to be honest with you, because they just kind of flap and get in the way. But I do like the cork a lot, just from when it's hot out and your hands are sweaty and they don't get slippery. They just absorb everything, and never had a blister problem or anything with them either. They do have the spring in them, for impact. I can't really compare them against anything else because these are the only pair I own and the only pair I've ever owned. I've never tried anything different. They're not real heavy, but they're not super light either. So I would like to get a pair of trekking poles that break down, but maybe next season I'll go with that. So yeah, $44. I have zero complaints. These have bore my full weight, when they get stuck in a crack, and I've almost actually kind of got launched to the side because I've like pivoted off these things, and no issues whatsoever. So that's what I use, and they work great.
All right, well, now let's go on over to the miscellaneous or wild card item. You know, we said we have 9 items, and I have the 3. Mark Goes Hiking has 3, and Backcountry Pilgrim Doug has 3. So my last item on the list is miscellaneous, and I took that to mean wild card. So I'm going to start back with Mark. And Mark, what's your miscellaneous or wild card item?
Yeah, so you know, my miscellaneous or wild card is I'm kind of an old school guy. I hate reading off of a phone or a tablet or a computer. I'm a paper guy. You know, even at work, I need to print stuff off to go through things, and so I can't read off my phone when I'm on the trail or anything. So this is extra space, extra weight, I know, but I take a journal with me. I usually take a moleskin. I take a pen with me, and I take a pocket New Testament. So all of these things take up space and I guess more weight, but I can't stand reading and typing on the phone. So I'm really old school that way. And sometimes I'll take some Sudoku puzzles, but when I do that, I'll just rip out a few pages and I'll take like a half dozen pages of those and I'll just fold those up. And I keep those I actually keep it all in my food bag, which is a dry bag. And that way I don't have to worry about them getting wet. But there's my miscellaneous item. Old school.
Awesome, Mark. Well, thanks a lot. Now let's go over to Backcountry Pilgrim. Doug, what is your miscellaneous or wild card item that you take?
So mine is, I don't know whether this is clothing or whether it's gear, but this is a buff. I think that's actually a brand, so I don't know, face, neck, sock. I don't know what to call these things other than buffs. But it's amazing how much this thing can do. I mean, you can basically just wrap it around your wrist. That's good for, like, you know, wiping sweat off and stuff. It can be a headband. I've been out in like mosquito areas where I've just put this around my neck so they're not biting my neck. I can pull it up over my nose in case I'm coming through like a swarm, you know, so I'm not breathing bugs. You can dip this in water and then just like pull it up over your head. And you can make yourself a little hood. I had talked earlier, you know, I know some people use this as a pillowcase. You know, you basically just pull this over the top of the pillow and now you've got a soft surface and it's also a little bit more grippy. This is something I don't leave at home ever anymore. On any hike I go on, I got a buff with me. I love this thing.
And for my miscellaneous or wild card, there's a couple of things that if you ever watch my videos, you will see me carrying on the back of my pack. It flops around. It looks very awkward. I carry these water shoes. They come in different brands, but the most I've seen for them is like 15 bucks. I think I got them I just got another pair because I tore them after 2.5 years. You wouldn't believe these lasted 2.5 years. I tore one of them and I just upgraded and got a pair. I paid more for shipping than I paid for the shoe. They are about half the weight of Crocs. I love them. I put them on as soon as I stop for a campsite. I put them on and I wear them till the next morning to take down the trail swell, but also use them for big stream crossings and things like that. I even wear them around the house. I love them. Now I got a couple other things. The second thing is I got like a Jeremiah Johnson knife. I don't know why I take it, but I can tell you why I take it. My son gave it to me for Christmas. It's way too much for the trail. I shouldn't take it for the trail, but my son gave it to me, and so I will not leave without it, even though it's heavy and big. I'm not going to leave without it. 2 more things that I carry. I actually have, yeah, this is crazy. I'm not ultralight, obviously, but a lot of times I will carry an old Radio Shack AM/FM radio. There's something to me about the search and find, like, you know, where's Waldo or something on the trail, trying to find AM stations or FM stations up on the mountain somewhere, and you just won't imagine what you can get. So I always just like to turn it on late at night and see what channels I can find, what's going on.
That is so cool that you do that. You know, the one thing, I once had a radio with me a couple summers ago. I was out with my daughter, and I found a baseball game was on, and that was actually fun. We're, you know, laying down to go to sleep in the tent, and we got to listen. It was, I don't know, it was the Yankees and the Orioles or something like that. I don't know, but it was just fun to listen to a baseball game while you're falling asleep. So that's really cool.
2 other things that I have that I carry. This is kind of my good luck charm. It is a hiker Smurf. Sometimes I'll just put it in the video somewhere. I'll just walk by it in the video so it'll show up in a video. And some people say, was that a Smurf in your video? So I've had it since I was a kid. I mean, it's like the legitimate Smurf from the late 70s. You know, and so I've always had it. I don't know how I still have it, but I carry it with me every time. And the last thing I have is these Duraflame fire starters. I always carry these little things you get at Walmart. I'll throw a couple in there for a fire starter at the end. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching As the Crow Flies Hiking and my 3 items that I have on these 9 essential items. I hope you'll join me next time for As the Crow Flies Hiking, and I hope you'll check out Backcountry Pilgrim's 3 items that he has in these 9 essentials, and Mark Goes Hiking, his 3 items for the essentials. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.